Good evening, Toneful people. How is everybody? Man, I am so glad to be doing this episode. I love Jamie Glaser. He's like a brother to me. He really is. So I'm so excited to have him here. And I'm going to say hello to some people in the chat and just a couple things. I will tell you this. Jamie and I love each other so much. We got on these interview calls and ended up with about 5.5 hours worth of footage. So I edited it down to 4-ish hours. So I'm breaking the interview up into 2 nights. Tonight at 7 and then tomorrow night at 7. Okay, so you see a couple hours tonight, couple hours tomorrow, and had a great time. We could have been on there all night, but Zelly the dog said that was enough. It was enough. So I'm going to say hello to some people in the chat here. And we have some people from all over. I'm going to go back. Jay Steele was here first. I don't know if he's back live yet, but he was here. Paulino is from Brazil, all the way from Brazil. Welcome, Paulino. That's awesome. Great. Of course, we have Mike Panich all the way from the Mon Valley. And great to see you. I do see my wife, who's awesome, and my Aunt Holly, who's awesome as well. So thank you for coming out here. And let's see, Bill. Bill said, Jamie is a great guitarist. You bet he is. He's a great musician. He's not just a guitarist. He's a great musician. And also, he's a great human being. He just is. But you nailed it, Bill. Let's see here. Wayne is here all the way from the UK. So, Wayne, Paulino is rivaling you in the travel this evening. Paulino came from Brazil, so I'm not sure which one of you had to travel the furthest to get here. But thanks for you being here. Let's see. Who else? James Oliver. How's it going, James? Yeah, the weather's great right now. The tri-state area, we're having, we've been having spring finally. So, and that's my favorite time of the year, really. Spring and fall. Cool nights, 70-degree days. I could live in that all the time. Let's see. Brian Gerard is here. Yes. And my friend Jamie Glaser is here. He's a bad dude, I'll tell you right now. He is so cool. Let's see. My friend Scott Jackson. Scott Jackson's here, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from California. There's Jay. Oh, no. Kay said hello to Jay. There's Don Zickafoos, ladies and gentlemen. Another great guy. Don and his wife are such great people. And we were blessed enough to have some dinner with them down in the Myrtle Beach area. Let's see. All right. So here's what's going on. I'm going to be quick because we have a lot to do with Jamie, but I have a few announcements. My song Winter Park is still moving up the charts, which I'm really grateful for. I've had some wonderful help from Adam Leibowitz from the ASL Music Media business. He's a great guy, and I love working with him. Also, Robert McLean from the Sundial Agency has been helping me out. And also, I had a nice radio spot. Alan Kepler from the Smooth Jazz Network did a really nice promo for me. So I'm going to play that for you. It's moving up thanks to all of the folks asking for it. Thank you for playing it and streaming it out there. Also, the radio stations, DJs and stuff, those folks are playing it. So I'm really grateful. We're on week 3, and it's made some pretty good progress. So very grateful.
This is our new music spotlight.
We're grooving to the hot new single from Tony Janflone Jr. titled Winter Park. Tony Janflone Jr. is a guitarist, vocalist, session musician, composer, and educator. And his debut smooth jazz single, Winter Park, is already one of the most added new singles at radio. Tony's compelling new album is titled Tone Poems to Chill By in a Sometimes Stressful World, Volume 1. And you can get it and find out more about this amazing artist at TonyJanfloneJr.com.
So thank you, Alan Kepner. Or so I should say Kepler. Kepler. Anyway, also, next week, I got to let you know who's here. We have a dual interview next week. Coming up on Toneful Tuesdays, I'm your host, Tony Janflone Jr. Join me Tuesday, June 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern for episode 13, featuring 2 great guests and 2 great conversations. First, I'll be talking with drummer Joe Pinciotti of Charles Wesley Godwin's band about music, touring, groove, and life behind the drums. Then, I'll be joined by Marvin Frock of Rocket Custom Guitars, a custom guitar builder creating unique, handcrafted instruments with heart, tone, and personality. It's drums, guitars, tone, stories, and real talk, all on Toneful Tuesdays. Join us Tuesday, June 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel. All right, that's next Tuesday. Another thing, many of you have been asking what the heck happened with my neck. Okay? So I'm going to do an update, a neck update. That'll be next Thursday night. And I have a series I call Beyond the Strings. So we're going to call that Beyond the Strings Live. Beyond the Strings Live, episode 1 next Thursday at 7 o'clock, okay? Coming up Thursday, June 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Join me for episode 1 of Beyond the Strings Live. Thoughtful Thursdays with me, your host, Tony Janflone Jr. The first episode is called A Big Pain in the Neck. It's the story of my serious neck situation, emergency surgery, recovery, faith, and how I nearly lost music but found my way back. I hope that you'll join me live Thursday, June 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on my YouTube channel. All right. So that's next Thursday. Remember, this interview this evening, it's a 2-parter. Tonight at 7 and tomorrow at 7. So without further ado, I am going to say hello to my friend Jamie. And we're going to tell you about him a little bit first, and then we're going to get to the interview, okay? Have fun, everybody. Hey, anybody got any popcorn out there? Got any popcorn? Friends, before we get to the interview, I want to take a moment to introduce you to this evening's guest, because he is truly an incredible musician and creative force. This evening, I'm honored to welcome guitarist, composer, arranger, producer, author, educator, and mastering engineer, Jamie Glaser. Now, before we even get into Jamie's amazing career, I want to say something about who he is as a person. Jamie has a wonderful sense of humor. A giant heart.
Will you still love me? Will you still care? Will you still need me when Christmas isn't there? Will you still feel the way that you do? Will you still love me when Christmas is through? We'll share more, we'll care more, but will
And a deep love for people and animals.
Sally, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? B-A-L-L. Where's the ball? B-A-L-L. Ball? No. Where's it? There's a good girl. You found the ball. Good girl. Yay, Sally!
He's one of those rare musicians who can be world-class at what he does and still bring warmth, kindness, laughter, and real humanity into the room.
I love you guys. Well, I have a bird, his name is Beanie. Beep, 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 beep. Beanie, beanie, beep, 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 beanie, beep, beep, beanie, beanie, beanie is my bird. Beanie, beanie, beanie is my bird. Well, I have a bird, his name is Piper. Pipe, 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 pipe. Piper, 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 Piper is my
Jamie was born in New York City into a highly musical family and went on to study at the Berklee College of Music, where he graduated with honors in composition. One of his most important mentors was the legendary William Levitt, chairman of the guitar department at Berklee, who helped guide Jamie toward composition and a broader musical path. Over the course of his remarkable career, Jamie has worked with an incredible list of artists, including Jean-Luc Ponty, Corea, Lenny White, The Manhattan Transfer, Bryan Adams, Eric Burdon, Gloria Trevi, Chaka Khan, and Jon Anderson of Yes. Jamie's long association with Jean-Luc Ponty is a major part of his story, from touring with Ponty early in his career, and that's when I met him, to later contributing to the Anderson Ponty Band project with Jon Anderson of Yes. He has been part of the jazz fusion and progressive music world in a very meaningful way, while also moving easily through rock, pop, Latin music, television, film, and studio recording. My friend Jamie has mad skills. Many people have also heard Jamie's guitar work without even realizing it. His playing and studio work have been connected to major television shows including Seinfeld, Saved by the Bell, Married with Children, Mad About You, Melrose Place, Beverly Hills 90210, The Tonight Show, and many more. In recent years, Jamie has continued to stay incredibly active. Since 2021, he has been mastering records for a wide range of artists. He has also mastered and mixed more than 40 cues for the Discovery Network and CBS Sports, many of which he also composed. Jamie's recent work includes mastering for Matt Bissonette, arranging, mixing, and mastering for C.D. Thompson, guest appearances on Jazz Holdouts albums, and guitar work on projects for Isaiah Stewart with Randy Brecker. He also recently finished co-producing, mixing, and mastering Justin Clark's first EP, expected for release in July of 2026. Jamie is also a dedicated educator. His online courses, including Turn It Up, Playing from the Heart, and Guitar and the Music of Jean-Luc Ponty, continue to reach hundreds of active students. He is also preparing a new book titled The Magic Pencil, a guide to reinventing and reimagining life when desired. One of the things I really appreciate about Jamie is the heart behind the resume. He talks about music as communication, healing, connection, and storytelling. He has said that music can take away loneliness, raise a culture, and, in the right hands, feel like a message from God. We'll talk this evening about his early years, Berklee, Jean-Luc Ponty, the Anderson Ponty Band, television and studio work, mastering, teaching, creativity, reinvention, healing, and what it means to keep growing through a lifetime in music. So please, my friends, join me in welcoming the incredibly talented and wonderful Jamie Glaser to Toneful Tuesdays. I am so happy to introduce to you my friend, the wonderful, the funny, the super talented and very kind Jamie Glaser.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Tony. I must tell everybody that we have been talking before he pressed the record button, and there's some funny stuff going on around here. It's great that you all joined Tony's show here. It's the best show around, so stay here.
Well, if my eyes look watery, it's because Jamie has already been cracking me up. So he's he is a hoot and a great guy. So I am blessed to have him here today. Jamie,
I think
you were born into a very musical family in New York City. How did that environment shape the way you heard music and thought about creativity early on?
That's really a good question, because people will say, "Hey, I grew up actually in Long Island, not New York City. I was born in New York City, but we didn't live in New York City." So for those of you who've never been to New York, Long Island is attached to New York. It's an island, although it never felt like an island. It is my father, Hy Glaser, was an esteemed, respected lyricist. wrote the words for songs. He had songs with Nat King Cole, with Frank Sinatra, with Sarah Vaughan, with Joe Williams, with a lot of other people. And I think more than anything, the generation my father came up with was about crafting, meaning there were kind of rules that the professionals didn't kind of know or didn't do. And I mean, he would, when he was teaching me how to write lyrics, he would be passionate about me doing rhymes that were what we in our generation call exact rhymes, or not. Slant rhymes is what most of rock and roll and pop music use. I remember him yelling at me because the Beatles had written a song rhyming the word can, C-A-N, and A-N-D. And my father, he says, you know, they're amateurs. They're amateurs. And it came from that. But it was the rules and regulations, crafting so a song would move somebody. It had to tell a story that was honest, that was truthful, that did something to the listener. So growing up in that environment was it just wonderful, really wonderful. You know, he had co-writers that were just from Broadway and all these people that would just come to the house and they would write on the weekends. My father had a day job because he didn't have a major hit enough to live off music, even with all those great artists, you know. So growing up in that, but some of the growing up like that, it was strange. I learned piano first. The guy's name, you know, maybe I shouldn't do this because his daughter's probably on social media. Anyway, it was Murray Singer. It was a studio, Murray Singer Studio. The guy was great. He was wonderful, and so I took the lesson and I read music so I could get through it, you know. And then we get the next lesson. Did what do they call those things? When you do a concert for people, a recital. Yeah. So I would do the recital. I'm 9 years old, and then he had to take a break from teaching for a couple of weeks. This will give you an idea. This is where I come from, New York. You know, you're from the East Coast, so you know this. But those, and it's like, well, is he okay? You know. Well, what happened was he took his higher students, right, like me, because I already did some stuff, and he was a week ahead. Like he only knew a week ahead of the student.
That's it. Just stay ahead of your students, and you're good.
One week ahead in the book, right? So when I found all this out, it kind of made sense. But that's why he took like 3 weeks off so he could really get ahead of the game, and he wasn't sick. He had a bunch of great students. He was. The things that's great about that is you talk about the musical environment. He was so passionate about this, man. And he made me want to play. He made me want to be proud to play. And I think that, you know, we're growing up in a generation right now, Tony, where music is discarded, where music is background music, where you can stream anything you want and you can turn it off in 4 seconds if you don't like it. And, that's not the way I don't think you or I grew up. Mm-hmm. It was important. It was important to society. It was important to culture. It was important to finding a girlfriend.
Yeah.
How's your wife, Kay? I love Kay. She's at work. I hope she comes to the interview.
But yeah, she's amazing, and thankfully I met her at one of my shows. Actually, I had sworn off at the time. I had sworn off meeting another girl at one of my shows.
I had met somebody at one of your shows. I think you maybe later you'll ask me how I met you.
Yes, I'm going to. I'm going to.
If you do, then yeah, but I didn't marry her.
But I did meet Kay at a show after I said, that's it. I'm not going out with anybody else that ever comes to a show, because I would find that they would be infatuated with what you did for a short time.
Of course.
And then, the realities of, oh, you mean you have to practice and you have to set up and tear down and you have to miss holidays because you're playing shows for other people and that sort of stuff.
What drew you to Kay? I think you should send the interview, and this will be your interview, and I'll ask the questions.
Okay. Well, number one, I thought she was beautiful. That's one thing. But beyond that, we met and we talked for 6 months. We got to know each other, and we had so much in common. And I'll tell you one thing, since you've turned the interview around.
Yeah, it's good. I want to learn.
When I was a kid, my friend Greg Carter and I were best friends. We're still best friends. And we were nerdy kids. And we used to make up games where we liked using tape recorders a lot. So Greg would do stuff like he would be Art Linkletter and I would be all three contestants on a game show. So I would be all the contestants. Well, we also used to play this Niagara Falls thing where we would announce and have sound effects going on, and we would use a toilet, and we would say, "Oh no, Evel Knievel's going to jump the Snake River Canyon," and and then of course he doesn't make it, and we flush the toilet and all this stuff. Right?
Where are these shows? We have these recorded.
I'd love to find them. I'm talking to Kay, and we're talking about our childhood, and she had a friend that her and this friend did exactly the same thing.
Oh, no, that's great.
She's like the only other person that I ever met on the female side of things that ever did anything like that. And then
that's fantastic.
She's one of the women on this planet that loves the Three Stooges, which is rare to find.
You got to do that. That's really rare.
It's rare.
They don't like the hitting stuff, the bopping on the head, and they don't find that
almost every girl that I ever went out with thought they were stupid.
Yeah, I think we've gone out with the same. Well, not the same girl.
And me, I'm a big Stooge. I'm a big Stooge fan. So
me too. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think you're very fortunate.
Oh,
I mean, of course.
I'm fortunate.
Well, I think that people are going to notice during our time together here on the podcast that we love each other, that we're deep friends, right?
We are.
I know, and I've watched all of your interviews. Plus, there's another series I watched that was, I don't know what you call it now, but very inspiring stuff about faith.
I guess that's my Beyond the Strings.
Yes. Okay. I apologize for not knowing, but I didn't know.
No need to. You're awesome.
The thing is, when you think about real friends, real friendship, that's a treasure it's hard to come by, in a way. We have almost an excuse now where we can say to somebody on Facebook, I love you, but you never met them. And you can love them, but it's not like Tony and Jamie, because I guess knowing a couple of the things you may ask during this interview, I will say that when I stepped on stage with you that day, it was two brothers.
Yeah.
There's one other person that happened with me. His name is Michael Thompson.
Oh yeah.
Great
MT.
Guitar. Yeah. Michael and I did a couple of sessions together. With the Berklee connection too, but with you, and it has never changed from that minute I stepped next to you, and we might get to that later. But I thank you for that, because I don't think life is complete unless you can have a friendship like this.
That's so cool.
Someone you trust,
I agree. I agree. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you.
And you have also the bonus of having a wonderful marriage with Kay, and
Thank you.
I have a great relationship with my chinchillas.
Well, you do, and I hope that
they do.
I hope that they'll pop in for a visit here during the interview.
Chinchillas are sleeping during the day, but Zelly, you want to go say? Well, come here. Go say hello to the people on YouTube.
Oh, there's Zelly. Oh, Zelly.
Zelly, I love you.
Jamie is such an animal lover. I call him Dr. Doolittle.
Do you remember the Huffington Post?
Yeah.
I think it may still exist, but it used to be when you're on America Online, the news came from Huffington Post. And one day I opened AOL and it said, Jamie Glaser, the Dr. Doolittle of YouTube. And I looked at it like nobody told me anything. It was just there. Because if you have any of these America Online, or the web, I don't use the software. It has like 20, well, Edge, they all have it. 20 stories you can go through. And I looked, and it was based on I had been writing songs about guinea pigs, and I had one where the guinea pig had headphones on. And yeah,
they're great. In fact, folks, you have to go to Jamie's YouTube channel and check out the videos. He has great stuff. It's just great. It's wonderful stuff there.
But that got me in trouble. That article on the Huff Post. So I live in what's called Utah County. I used to live in LA. I grew up in New York, but I live in Utah County, which is where Salt Lake City is, basically. And I get a phone call from a neighboring city, which is called American Fork. And so this is whatever her name was. We saw the article about you in the Huffington Post, and we also saw one that was in the Daily News with you pictured with chinchillas. We're wondering if it's possible we could bring some students by your home. You live in the Utah Valley, right? I said, yes, I do. Can we bring some students by so you could show them a little bit more about chinchillas? So I said, yeah, sure, you can. I said, but, they sleep during the day. I can wake them up. It's not like they're not like musicians. I can wake them up, And so I love my house, but it's not a mansion. It's a nice starter home, good, And looking at the clock, these people are supposed to show up. The school with a couple of students. And I look out the picture window. I'm on the second floor here. And a full-size school bus pulls up, the full size. But this is only the beginning, because behind the full-size school bus, and I don't know how many people fit in a school bus. Maybe 60? 50? I don't know. Maybe there's more. I'll have to look that up. Behind the school bus, Tony, is a mini school bus.
Oh, my.
Another yellow bus, but the half-size bus. And behind the bus are 3 cars. Oh, my. And I'm thinking, this can't be. I mean, I have a 1,700 square foot house, and the animal room is not that big, It's big enough for them. And I almost prayed. I was like, this can't be happening. But it did happen. I had the front door open for like 20 minutes to let everybody in the house.
Oh, my.
And being what you and I do for a living, especially the live work, we know how to work crowds. We learned what it takes. So I had to turn it into I decided, so look, I'm going to have to turn this into a festival. So first I brought him in, I brought the guitar, we sang songs, and I had him hold the chinchilla. Then I brought him into this room. So I made them write a song. I had the keyboard. I just turned it into a big festival. My whole house was filled with people. It looked like there's less people at Madison Square Garden than there were in my house at the time. But it's all from the stupid Dr. Doolittle of YouTube.
Wow.
Anyway, that's probably not
but they did a full-fledged field trip to your house.
Unbelievable. I mean, when someone says, look, we'd like to bring some students by so you could show them a little bit about chinchillas, I don't know what that means, but to my head, it was like 3-4 students, maybe. I didn't expect the whole second grade to be in my house. I know, you know, if you have a school, at least when I grew up in New York, we had an assembly. Mm-hmm. The assembly room was filled with people, except that was my house at the time.
Well, I can tell you this, those kids, that's a field trip they'll never forget.
They won't forget that.
No way.
And, you know, I'm a little nutty, so I'm describing it after. I'm sure it was much stranger than I'm describing it. But
I think I wish I could see film of this.
The people listening to your show right now are thinking, I don't know why I'm tuned in here. This guy is nuts.
Well, I think they say that every week.
It's good.
They're still coming back because it's like when people see an auto accident when they're driving, they can't not look at it.
Do the people that listen to this podcast know about your album? I mean,
I think they do. Yeah.
I saw you mention on one of the shows. But do they realize like Winter Park is like a hit, is being played by all the radio stations, and that you're all over Spotify and everywhere? Do they know that?
Well, they're getting to know that, and so far so good. It's picking up some steam each week. It's been out.
If you guys are smart out there, you'll get his album and stream it, buy it, do it, because I happen to have one, and I will say this, and I'm careful because I used to, especially when I was playing live, I did a lot of interviews, and something will come back and bite you. You know, if you say it wrong. I remember I said something about Jon Anderson that Jon Anderson fans flipped out about, right? And I intimated or expressed that the persona that the fans know him as was not what I knew. You know, I was yelled at. I mean, I had all this stuff going on with him. I will get into that later. It was the only band in my whole career that I threatened to quit.
Wow.
Yeah, I walked out and called the airline in the middle of a rehearsal.
Wow.
So I said, it's funny because it's another interview.
He must have been related to that guy from that news station.
Yeah, well, at times maybe. But when I say this, and that's why I'm prefacing this, I don't want people to think I'm a nasty person or whatever. I love every musician. I respect people who've never taken a lesson. In fact, I at Berklee College, where all the degrees, I used to walk around the hallway and steal stuff from people who were beginners. Mm-hmm. It's at least school-wise, right?
Yeah.
And I don't listen to music, and the reason is not because I'm a nasty. I'm watching my language. Is because I work every day. Most of the time, 7 days a week, and I'm working on somebody's music. They send me their music. I'm either putting the guitar on, mixing, mastering, whatever I'm doing. So I never listen to music. When I'm in the car, I listen to talk radio. Mm-hmm. But as a producer, it's mandatory that I keep up. So twice a month, I go and I spend a whole day listening to different stations. Rap, jazz, funk, pop. I go through my title. I ask young people who I'm producing, what are you listening to? Because I'm not 20 anymore. And I keep up. I have a story about that. I have a story about everything because I don't shut up. But when I heard your album, everything stopped. And I was mesmerized. And I think I wrote you, first of all, sonically, it's delicious.
Thank you.
I don't know. I know you recorded some in your own studio, right?
I did most of it. The only thing I farmed out were the sax.
Yeah.
Those guys recorded at their places, and Ron Reinhardt played keyboards on a few songs.
Okay, so
the rest of it.
He sent
He
you the
sent me some string lines and some pads, and he played organ on another song, and I did the rest of the stuff.
Well, there's nepotism. You're my friend. I've always admired you. I love a whole gamut of things about the way you play. But something touched me about your songs and reading the liner notes, which were filled with gratitude. And, it's a lot of times, a lot of us, we base on our today on what happened yesterday, right? I try not to do that. In fact, the last 15 years, I've worked on my past not being in my present at all. Doesn't mean I'm embarrassed or that I need to throw it away. It's just not in my day. And if it creeps in my day, I actually have exercises to get rid of it. And what I saw was, knowing also some of the turmoil you've gone through, that your album was a celebration, Yeah. And your album, the melodies speak. They have a heart. I mean, compositionally, I'm a composer, right? That's my thing. They're beautiful. They're the beginning, middle, and end that says what it has to say. And I'm not saying this because I'm on your show, but you and the group Dirty Loops, are you familiar with them?
Oh yeah, they're great. They're great.
The only 2 albums that I've listened to in the last year, and I continuously listen. And people send me this crap on Facebook all the time. This was you in a video with this guy. I don't want to hear myself. I don't even have a copy of a Ponty album here.
I get that, and I appreciate your kind words because I respect you so much. Excuse me, I have allergy issues, man. They're bad this spring here.
Careful.
But I respect the heck out of you for you to say that stuff means everything to me, and I appreciate it.
It's a testament to you because everybody has their own way of doing things, right? I mean, I've been questioned a lot. Like when I wrote the music for this year's Super Bowl and the other, I had artificial intelligence help me because I am not an expert at rap music nor hip hop. So when I needed hip hop rap or hip hop lyrics or hip hop drops, I asked Suno, what are you going to do? And then I took it into my DAW and I made it my own, right? I use it just like we use any other tool. By the way, I'm very pro AI, so I know that we're not going to talk about that, but people write me all the time how it's destroying the careers, and I've made like double the money because of my knowledge with it. I use it on all my social media, not my posts. I mean, I never have AI write my posts. Ads, Facebook ads, I have it help me.
Sure.
It's the best of the best. And I remember I had the one thing for Super Bowl. They wanted some brass Motown stuff, and I was in here doing the usual thing, the breath controller, and it just sounded like some stiff guy from Long Island, that had a couple of good lessons. So I took the Suno, man. They gave me this part. They could clobber the Tower of Power. And then I took it, I made MIDI out of it, and I changed the notes. The idea was, it's just like, to me, the way we grew up. You want to be inspired, put on an album, listen to the album, be inspired by that guitar player. So that's the way I've used it. I use it in business. I use it all over the place. But
yeah, I think it can be a sketch pad like you're using it. Right?
A sketch pad. And
I do have a problem, and I got bummed out the other day because my song is on Spotify, and it's being surrounded by AI, complete AI generated songs.
Right.
And that's a little painful because the amount of work we put into producing a song or anything is
there's a downside. I mean, I've been jealous of some of the stuff that I've taken from. No, first of all, I don't do anything without knowledge. So I'm in an AI boot camp for over a year now. He's a Hollywood filmmaker. It's $5 a month, and it's extraordinary. He teach. I mean, every one of the clients, the platforms, the Midjourney and the VO and everything. I've learned the tricks for each one of those things. And then with Suno, I took a course with a hit writer from London, who's using it, as you say, as a sketch pad. But there is, in reality, the people listening don't care about how much work we put in. They're looking for the satisfaction of hearing something. And I can't compete with some of what's on there. So we just have to do the best we can. But I'm completely with you. I just recently ended a relationship, and there's an AI song going around which talks about how after I die she'll be sorry. It's all over the internet. Right? I couldn't wait to send it to her. Right. I trying so hard to not do the revenge thing. Anyway, the point really of my funny. 40-minute, by the way, if I'm just bumbling around, just edit me out. The point is that the AI, the writing, the things is that your album is on another level because AI, with all the fact that I'm pro AI in my work and I use it, could never get what you produced. Not because you worked your tail off and got great musicians and worked hard in the mix, but because your experience, especially these last few years when there's been everything from the driveway being cockeyed to the other stuff that happened to you, the dangerous stuff, the health thing, this idiot that hurt you.
We had a bunch of stuff happen, and that, at least for me, that album was it meant a lot because it was a comeback for me, and it was also, I had a lot of stuff happen during that period. My mom passed away, my brother passed away. I mean, so some of that stuff is it's just from my heart, and
but here's the thing, Tony, you have been, and since the day I met you too, a form of inspiration to others, right? I know what you told me pre-interview about what Kay told you. You have to love the life you live. But with the pain of losing mom and all the other things that I happen to know you've gone through, including just normal day stuff, we all go through, you were able to take that, even if you're still feeling the hole, feeling the hurt. And when you transferred it to the album, it was like a flower blooming. It's almost like the album, I'm not a critic, but I'm just saying it's like your album is the flower blooming. And that's kind of you may not even be there yourself yet. I mean, I don't know, because I don't see you every day. You may still have doubts, you may still have hurts, you may still cry about whatever, right? Things are whatever they are. But you're able to say, okay, this is where I was or what it is, and people are listening. So let me bring them, let me bring them joy, or let them listen to something. So I don't know how you accomplish that. I actually would like to do it myself.
Oh, you write great stuff. And I appreciate that. And to be honest, I didn't want it to be a downer. Even though some of those songs, there's a song called Spirit Trail that I wrote for my brother, because he came and spent his last 2 months with us. And
but even there's I don't know what the word is, because we're still doing a podcast, I'm on a microphone, but there's a serenity, the pain of losing our family members or the illnesses or any of the combination, right? And then we choose how to have a memory.
Oh, yeah.
We choose. I know my mother was terminally ill. I could remember the months she spent in bed in pain, or I can remember how all the neighbors loved her and how she loved and helped everybody. And she was kind of like Kay, like a Mother Teresa. And I choose that. I don't. The other stuff exists. I'm not blocking it out, but it's a choice.
You're right.
In fact, all of this is a choice, Tony. I mean, you could have given up. I could have given up. I went through something years ago. I think
I do.
You got a choice.
No, you have to move. You got to keep moving forward, and also you got to dwell on the good. You have to find the good, because it's there.
It's there.
It's there.
It's there. I mean, I don't know what special person right now is listening on YouTube to this, but if they take something away from this, and I'm going to be bold here, is that Tony and I have both had kind of similar paths. We've had obstructions put in our way. We've had sadness. We've had dilemmas. And we realize that life is more than that. Doesn't mean that we don't know that stuff existed. So if you out there are listening and you're a fan of Tony's, or you know anything about me, then know that there is a greater good. There is a positively, you've probably heard this before, no one can make you happy, right? No one can make you sad either. So if that's the case, then who can help you? Well, of course, if you believe in God or the universe, maybe you have some help. But if you don't put it out yourself, I personally, I don't believe anything bigger than us is going to help us if we don't at least put the energy in to start it.
Yeah.
I think there are people. Sorry, Tony.
No, I was going to say we have free will, so it's our choice to choose the path. I mean, we can pick to be negative or positive.
Do you know the preacher Joel Osteen?
I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay. So some people hate him and like they hate I mean, in this new world, everybody can be hated. You could say that's the most beautiful flower on Facebook, and someone will go, I hate that flower. It ruined my life. I mean, this is the way our new generation. Anyway, I happen to like Mr. Osteen, and he said something the other day that was great. He said, people often pray, but they're afraid to pray for the big stuff. He said, don't be afraid to ask God for everything you want or need or whatever, because he or the universe, if you're non-religious kind of thing, will guide you to where you need to go. But if you only ask for the small stuff, you'll get less. And it's funny because my first guitar teacher used to tell me, whatever you want, think double. Whatever you want. And he said, don't reach for the moon, reach for the stars. And I've always had that. And then I have the people who complain that they have no music life, living, and all they ever wanted to do was, play in the club down the street. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
Nothing wrong with that at all. But you can't complain that you're not in the orchestra for the American Idol if you've only planned to play at the saloon in Azusa, California. So anyway, I thank you for that because, like I say, and again, not brown-nosing here or whatever, I've listened to your album several times. And I'll tell you honestly, I've listened as I work or to relax or I was telling you about my man cave downstairs.
Yeah.
I still don't know the titles except for Winter Park because it's all over the place. I don't even look. I the first day I got it, I read the liner notes, and then I just let it do its thing. So you're doing, and you asked, the first question you asked 4 hours ago here was growing up in a creative background, a musical family. You are the epitome of like what I grew up with. The music has to matter. The music has to say something. The music is there as majestic. It's majestic,
Yeah, music itself is It's amazing. It's amazing. And you have been carrying the torch for many years, Jamie. I mean, all the stuff you've done. You've been to the heights, you know, and you're still creating all kinds of great music.
Thank you.
So I admire the heck out of you, because you're just so accomplished, so creative, and such a kind and caring soul. You mean a lot to me, because I think the world of you.
A lot of times when people say, "Hey, you've been doing music, you're still doing music," and blah, blah, I tell you, yeah, because I don't know how to ski. I tell you a thing, which is not really me, but I don't know if you're aware that there was the show Seinfeld.
Yeah,
a big show for those people who don't watch TV, but
loved it.
It was the #1 sitcom ever, and I had the honor of being the guitarist, sometimes ukulele, and some other crud on there. And the composer, my dear friend Jonathan Wolfe, I met him on a bar mitzvah. We were playing a bar mitzvah, and my keyboard player got sick. He had diabetes. They found him. There was another story. They found him in L.A. going in circles. They shot his tires thinking that he was drunk, but he had a diabetes. Yeah. But anyway, we needed a keyboard player quick, so Jonathan came on the gig, right? And Jonathan was already like a musical director for this and for that. He was already writing some TV stuff. He wasn't that really good for the gig. I remember we played. I can't do it. I can't do it on this. In the mood? Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know, in the mood.
Oh, I do.
So he's looking at me like, what's going on? There's a section of da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he's looking at me like, what? Because he's supposed to play the bass with the left hand.
Oh, man.
So I don't know what to say. So I can't think, well, it's one sharp diminished. I don't explain it. And then there's, it's been a long time since I played this stuff.
Yeah.
So I told him, just play the blues, which completely screwed up the song, because he's like, you know. When the gig was over, I was like, God, this guy, I had to tell the people what I thought. I was like, he's not really good enough. I mean, he's a great player, but he didn't have the repertoire.
Yeah.
And the next, 2 days later, I got a call from him. He said, listen, I'm the musical director for John Davidson. The guy who was on the.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny how all this worked.
He had amazing teeth.
Had amazing teeth, that's for sure. He did, actually. He said, we have a regular show in Las Vegas in a big stage. I was like, what? The guy who's doing Hollywood Squares? Said, yeah. And it turns out, I tell my father told me that John recorded one of his songs in 1959 or something. So I go to this gig. He says, you sing, right? I said, yeah, I sing. I go to the gig in Las Vegas. John is adored. Like women screaming for him, throwing underwear up. Yeah, amazing teeth. The bass player was suing. Who's the guy who wrote "Joy to the World"? Joy to the world. Oh, the boys and girls.
It was Three Dog Night.
Right?
The
leader of Three Dog Night. Do you remember his name?
Chuck Negron. And no, who was it?
No, that's another. Crap. Anyway, long story short, the bass player wrote it.
Okay.
And the guy from Three Dog Night stole it. So he had a cassette. So he's in court with this $500,000. David Jackson, his name. What a wonderful player, man. So, and Gary Hess on drums. Anyway, this is one of the most fun gigs I've ever done in history. I couldn't wait to do it. Played, and plus it paid great. and I sang and I played, and John Wolfe was the most amazing conductor, band leader ever. This guy who I was trying to explain In the Mood to, right? And that was our friendship. And before I knew it, I was doing all of his shows, which were everything from Yogi Bear to, to Married with Children, to Saved by the Bell, to Seinfeld. And just so grateful for that journey, but you just never know. Yeah.
So there's no coincidences. See, you were supposed to do that bar mitzvah with that guy who couldn't cut the gig.
Right.
But you end up.
But you see, Tony, that's the thing about you two, you and me, I think. I'm not sure those things happen by coincidence. And I'm not sure they happen when you think it's destiny. I think that a lot of us do not allow that to happen. We don't think it's possible it can happen.
Right.
I once asked this sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. I asked a priest and a rabbi. Not a priest and a rabbi joke.
Was it in a bar? It wasn't in a bar.
God help me. I knew that was going to happen. But this is true because I lived down the block from the rabbi. My father didn't like the rabbi. So I asked them, I said, why is it that all religions, particularly the Jews and Catholics and Christians, talk about the prophets and about these people who do miracles and the burning bush and the separating the Dead Sea? So why doesn't that happen now? And I really was interested. And the answer from both of the clergy was exactly the same, because they are happening. People just don't see them, and they don't think that it's possible. There are miracles every day, bigger than the burning bush, bigger than any story in any Bible. So I think in your career and in my career, we've allowed that to happen. We've allowed that to happen. Somebody else who's listening on the podcast now might say, well, no, that was fate. You got the guy playing the keyboards and he didn't cut it, and then he liked you, and that's the old, how many times have people say to me, you made it because of who you know? No. Right? I said, no. Yeah. We make it because of how we know the people.
That's right. If you weren't prepared at that moment meeting him, because you thought he couldn't cut the gig, but he was connected in this other major way, and he obviously walked away from that gig saying, man, that guy, he's amazing.
That's because I didn't yell at him. That's why.
Well, that's
hey, man, you're supposed to know how to play Born in the USA, man, and Hava Nagila. He did know Hava Nagila. No, it was did you, when you were playing live more, did you do casual? They call them club dates, right? Still? Club dates?
I did all that stuff. And in fact, lots of weddings, lots of parties, clubs, all that stuff. I have to tell you, I played one time with a traditional klezmer band.
Oh, I did too. What did you think?
And that was amazing. And then at the gig, you know how they hoist the bride and groom up on the chair. That always scares me because I'm afraid somebody's going to be a quadriplegic at these gigs, and they're drunk and they're doing this, but there was a guy, and I had never seen this before. He lined a top hat with foil, and then he lit the hat on fire at this wedding, and he danced around, and he had this flaming head, man.
My God.
Yeah. It was a band from Philadelphia. They came to Pittsburgh, and there was a trumpet player. His name was Danny Donahoe. And it was he and I got called to play guitar and trumpet with this really good klezmer band. It was something else.
Well, we have, you were talking about the. Anyway, we did so many bar and bat mitzvahs. My first wife, is an incredible musician. I met her at Berklee College, and great guitar. I mean, she played guitar so well that Joe Pass stopped in a music store to listen to her when we were in LA. She's a terrific player, composer, singer, but we played so much of these things that we started to hate kids.
Yeah.
The bar mitzvahs are for 13-year-old kids. And especially there's a couple of real, we were like the house band at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and spoiled beyond spoiled. And we had one thing where the kids were grabbing toilet paper and throwing it at the band. I mean, this is and these people are spending $50,000 for their kids' party, So it's kind of like your story. We used to do musical chairs. You remember that game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You play the music, and then they have to sit down and find a chair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing this stuff, and we're playing like I don't know what we're playing like in those days, right? Something, and they're walking around, and I looked, and there's a chair that's looked broken, right? and Debbie, my first wife, she says, "Don't say anything." I mean, see, we were kidding with each other, right? But it turned out that chair was really broken. And we just, the kid that landed on the chair was like 3 inches from getting impaled.
Oh, my.
The leg almost went right up his butt. It wasn't funny, but things like the top hat was on fire, and these parties, you never knew what was going to happen. It was part of the fun of them. Mm-hmm. And I was a band leader, so I don't know if you're aware of this. I have a Christmas album called No Apologies.
I have it. It's great.
Well, it's all based on that. So I made all the Christmas songs Jewish.
I love it.
Right? And it's based on a real thing. I was doing that in LA. We were playing, I don't know if I explained it because I don't do well with the liner notes, but we were doing all the Christmas parties, 20 of them, Domino's Pizza Corporation one day, Mazda the next day, that one. And then I got a call on a Thursday to do what I thought was a Christmas party at a temple in Granada Hills, California. So I thought, this is really strange, having a Christmas party at a synagogue. I mean, I don't know if we work 7 days a week. We work 4 or 5 for sure. And so we get to the gig, and it's not a Christmas party, obviously. It's an Orthodox wedding, Orthodox Jewish wedding. And so we had been, this is like the 12th or 13th day we're playing Christmas songs. So when they put them on the chairs for the horror, what would be, I turned to the band and I said, let's just play all the Christmas songs in minor. So it was like, and so, I'm on the edge anyway. Even at my age, 71, I'm still, compared to my classmates, they're like my great grandparents compared to the way I live. So,
I understand.
I know you know that. And so Mrs. Cohen, no, maybe I shouldn't do that. Mrs. Cohen.
She doesn't watch the show.
I will, well, hopefully not. And I want everybody to watch your show. I just don't know about this one. So Mrs. Cohen runs up, and I'm thinking, because I'm working for an agency, right? I'm thinking this is it. I've taken the band to Jamie weird places many times. I've sung first dances with words I create on the I've done things that I'm embarrassed. I don't know if I'm embarrassed anymore, but things embarrassing things. Anyway, because I was living a double life. I was playing 2 weeks with Chick Corea and coming home and playing a bar mitzvah, and I couldn't figure out who I was, and I didn't know. The bar mitzvah seemed like a bunch of garbage compared to what I was doing, but then the bar mitzvah was what bought me the stuff. It was like I was all confused. But anyway, so Mrs. Cohen runs up, and she's harried, man. And I figured, this is it. I'm going to get fired. The agency, I had like 30 gigs on the calendar. They're going to take the gigs away. I've already pushed it to the limit where I almost got fired anyway. And she comes up and she puts her arms around me. She said, what is this music? Like, I'll never forget this, Tony. What, like with a Yiddish, more like Yiddish. What is this music? And I'm thinking, I'm just about to say, I'm so sorry. I was just fooling around. I know that, I'm ready for the whole thing. I know this is a solemn occasion. Your daughter looks beautiful. I'm ready for the whole shtick. She says, none of my daughter's friends have this beautiful music at their wedding. And I think, okay, I don't know. I never did many drugs, but whatever they put in this orange juice I'm having, and I'm thinking, is this really happening? She said, you have more? So yeah. So after we played that, which is not on the album, I did the Brady Bunch in minor. We took the television shows. And I got a clarinet player who is John Chase. He's great.
He's wonderful.
Yeah. And now we're playing it because we're musicians first, right?
Right.
So once we're into it, of course, after John's got tears coming down from laughing.
Yes.
Because they could hear Mrs. Cohen. I hope she's not listening. I'm so sorry. I'll give you money back. So now John and I turned to each other. This is now what I'm telling you about your first question about growing up in a creative house. Now we're looking at each other. We got to play this in harmony. So I'm trying to figure out the thirds to all this stuff. And it sounded great. So we could, we did that. Then we did the Flintstones. We did like that. And all the, I grew up Jewish, so I can make fun of it. But all the Jews are growing in a circle and joyful.
Well, I think it's genius myself.
What I did, and I don't say that on the album, is we had a 7-piece band. Word got out. The musicians talk. I was on Jamie's gig and we did this. And I started to get requests from the studio musicians in LA. Do you have a recording of that night? Blah, blah, blah. No. So I hired John Chase and the drummer and Fred Petrie and a couple other people. And we made a cassette of the songs and gave them as Hanukkah and Christmas gifts. And then when January came, which is usually a dead month, for that kind of work, I had so much work. It was, we got to have Jamie, That's why I say, like, I don't know if I can play or if I can't play. I don't know if I'm good or if I suck. I just know that something's always worked. Like, it's always like some weirdness that propelled my career.
Well, I can tell you, you're great at what you do, but you're also very creative. You have a great sense of humor, and you're just really flexible, like many musicians aren't. So you're willing to adapt in a situation like that, and look what comes from it.
It's a kind word. The thing is that I think that's a part of an illness, because you may talk about it if there's ever time for that, but I had some troubles in the 90s after the earthquake, which I wrote a book about. And one of the first things that the psychiatrist worked with me on and this is serious. He told me in our therapy session, he said, Jamie, you can't be everyone. And I said, but I want to be. He said, so if I go to a construction site and they're building, I want to be invited to go down and grab a hammer, even though I don't have any freaking idea what I'm doing, right? And what he was trying to teach me was that we all have blessings, and I need to be more confident about what I have, because I always wanted to be someone else. Not that I have no confidence, but I saw something greater in everything else. The only the only time that kind of didn't happen, which is kind of like a reflection of you and me, is I never was competitive in that way. You know, just utter respect. Like, are you going to ask me how I met you at some point?
I am. Well, I was going to tell people my remembrance of meeting you was we were cellmates.
I just like looking at you here on the video, like, what? If we had grown up together,
Jamie and I met in Leavenworth.
Yeah, I mean, Creed. You know what Creedmoor is?
No.
It's a mental hospital in Long Island.
That's possibly there too.
Hello, Zelly. Would you like to be interviewed?
Zelly is a sweetie.
Tell them how I met you. All right. I'm listening. I'm still here.
Okay.
The poor people watching this, I know they've seen your other ones. I don't think that, yeah, you're not right now. This is
we are just having a nice chat.
You'll be editing for the next. You told people that this will come out on June 2nd.
Maybe I won't.
You tell them what year.
I was going to ask you a question about Juilliard.
Juilliard is a nice school.
Okay, good.
Well, the thing about Juilliard, I played upright bass, string bass, in the orchestra from the earliest remembrance. So I learned piano, and then I learned the bass. But I also learned guitar, and I played electric bass from like when I was 12, doing gigs, like maybe half or more. Thing in New York, they use what's called left-hand bass, which meant pianists had to be able to play bass with the left hand instead of hiring bass players. Some of these offices that provided music would charge for a bass player and steal the money. This was a kind of a mafioso union thing. So wow. Yeah, it's not the most ethical thing, but that's the way it was. And not all of them, but quite. I mean, I did a gig with one office from New York City who hired me to play bass, but the instructions were do not bring an amplifier. So I said, okay, it's not a problem, right? Not a problem. I don't need to bring an amplifier. Thank you. I would figure I'm going to go to New York City. I played a gig at the Waldorf Astoria, whatever. And he said, the band leader introduced himself. How you doing, Jamie? He says, just tie your cable around the chair legs. I said, what? Yeah, I said, there's no amplifier. He says, no, we don't need you to play. We needed to charge for another man. Because like musicians getting paid whatever it is, $150 for 4 hours, they charge double usually, of course. I mean, I work for these agencies, so I know how they work. So if they're charging in those days $300 or $400, and they were paying me $150, they just charged. There's a lot.
I've been there. I've been there because I've had clients tell me what we were actually getting paid.
Oh yeah.
And then you go, what?
Yeah. Well, some musicians don't know that. So anyway, back to Juilliard. I played both string bass and bass, and I could read very well. And by the way, I'm always afraid to talk about that. I don't like to say I'm good at anything publicly. I mean, it's okay to say I felt confident. I feel kind of guilty when I say it, but I was a good reader. So I walked into Juilliard. They had 5 gray-haired professors waiting. They do a full thing. They give you something to read like this. And there was silence. I've never, you and I both, we're not used to silence when we play. Complete silence, utter silence. And one of the guys, and also, by the way, I was a peacenik. I had hair down to here. I didn't fit the Juilliard model at all. I really didn't. I mean, the week before I was marching with John Lennon against Vietnam, and here I'm at Juilliard playing the upright bass. And the one professor spoke up. He said, "Mr. Glaser," he said, "you have a very not non-authentic." Was another word he used. Basically saying I didn't use fingering, classical fingering. And the reason for that is on upright. Have you ever played upright bass?
I haven't. I play electric, but never upright.
Okay, so on upright bass, you don't use your third finger.
Yeah.
Only for chromatics, but the position work is position 1, 1.5, and all the stuff is 1, 2, 4. And I'm using my third. I'm even bending. I'm out doing a Carcassi piece and bending. And they never saw anything like this. And they asked me straight out, are you willing to play here with traditional fingering, traditional dynamics, traditional this? And I thought about it, and you know what the deciding factor was?
I don't know.
I stand just under 5'7", 5'6.5". And the bass, full-size bass, made me look like Billy Barty. So I said, I'm never going to have any girlfriends if I do this. I swear, people think there's some big decision. I'm not going to have sex. I'm not going to have enough girlfriends. I have to switch to guitar. All the girls like guitar players. So I went home. I told my father, I don't want to go to Juilliard. I want to go to Berklee, because I'd already had their catalogs. So my father dug up the money somehow, and I went to Berklee, and I got my wish.
That's a great story.
Yeah, the whole Juilliard thing is all about testosterone. What you like.
I have some bass players coming on, so there's a guy coming on. He has a great. If you get a chance, Jamie, you should check him out. He has a great YouTube channel. It's called PD Bass. His name is Paul Thompson, and Paul's a great upright bass player and plays electric and everything else. But he's a really good YouTube channel.
Where's he from? Do we know?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, cool. There's so many. My aunt and uncle lived in Pittsburgh, so I always enjoyed that area, seeing them and playing the mosque there, as I recall.
Yeah. Syria Mosque was a great venue. Actually, my opinion, it was the best sounding hall that we had in Pittsburgh.
It's no longer there?
No. It's a parking lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they tore it down. In fact, I did a show there. We opened up for Dionne Warwick, and it was so nice. It was and she was so nice, actually. She was great.
Yeah, I've met her. I actually have a picture of her autographed. I should show you.
Oh, but that's nice.
That means I have to go. I know that picture well because she autographed it to my first wife and me. And the person I've dated for the last 20 years hated that I was ever married. So I had to buy a special tape to go in the frame and cover the first wife's name so I could put the picture up. These last 20 years, we're not getting into that. This is not a relationship.
I understand. It's funny. Kay's family, when I first met Kay, because she was divorced, And I went to her sister's house. And when I showed up, they had a family picture. And there was this guy next to Kay who had Charlie Brown's head pasted over his face. And so I said, I'm calling Marvin Martian when it's my time. Fortunately, they haven't had to cut out Marvin the Martian's head yet, so it's all good. But
look, the thing is, a family's influence. Again, I know this is not that interview about relationships, but being that I have gone through the last, aside from leaving social media 5 months ago, my relationship also ended 5 months ago. They have no correlation. Well, they do in a way, but we were doing just fine. She knew that I had been married to a well-known musician. She had heard, actually, when we were dating, some of the tapes of my first wife singing. There was really nothing happening. So one day I take her to New York to see where I grew up, to enjoy New York. She's an LA girl. She's never been over there. And I go to my Uncle Sam's house, my Aunt Shirley and Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam had passed. And my Aunt Shirley, older Jewish Brooklyn, New York thing. She says to the girl, I can use her name. Her name is Helen. She says, if Jamie's still talking to Debbie, that means he still loves her.
Oh no!
I swear I am sitting at the table. This was the last person to ever say that to, because already she was just on the edge. You'd have to know who I'm talking about. She has to be the boss, right? I'm trying very hard to be in a place of no revenge, no anger. But she has to be the boss, and to have my aunt say, yeah, he's still in love with her because he talks to her. And for the next 18 years, I was finished. I never, and I would get tested too. Would be like, when was the last time you talked to Debbie? It's like, I haven't. But it was the Charlie Brown thing. I had a card here when one of my animals died that Debbie sent me in condolence, and I had to erase her name because, I don't want to end up like with my personal parts on an antenna like Lorena Bobbitt. These last 20 years have been a journey, that's for sure. So that's the Juilliard story.
Juilliard, yes. You went to Berklee.
I did. The best thing I've ever done, yes. That's one of my regrets in life. I had a good scholarship. I won the Joe Pass Award. Oh, gee whiz.
But it wasn't a full scholarship, and we had no money, So I went on the road instead. I didn't get to go. I don't know how
people are doing now. It's up to $250,000 for 4 years.
My goodness, it's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess mostly wealthy people. We didn't have much money either. I got a scholarship too. My father pawned his wedding rings for one semester.
Aw,
let me go.
How sweet that is.
Look, to me, if I'm sure I've watched your interviews, so you interview great musicians and friends, but it was the miracle of my life. It was those 4 years. Just on the surface, when I think of this would be a typical class. I'd walk into class or guitar ensemble, and it would be Mike Stern on my right, Bill Frisell on my left, and Von Clue over there, just great players. And then the drummers would be Vinnie Colaiuta, Steve Smith, John Robinson, with Philip Saiz on keyboards, and Ian Underwood on bass, Tim Landers on bass, Neil Steubenhaus on bass. And so being around that, and there was one thing about Berklee, I hope it's still the same, is we all wanted to make it, but we all supported each other, like beyond belief. I mean, I used to not sleep and go to Bill Frisell concerts or Mike Stern just to show that I loved them, right? And they would do the same, you know. That was the Berklee of those days. I think if you talk to anybody from that era, it was 73 to 77, it was magical, man. And fusion had just started, you know. I mean, Miles Davis had fusion music, but the next thing, which was basically Return to Forever with Chick Corea, that had just broken my second year there. So all of us, that the people I just mentioned to you, we had to do this new kind of music, because we all came from rock. We all came from a little bit of knowledge of jazz, you know, and this seems like a perfect fit. I mean, I can play what they call jazz with a Marshall. I mean, what? You know, I didn't need a Fat D'Angelico and a, you know, so it was unbelievable. And I had a teacher, his name, Bill Levitt. You know that name?
Oh, yeah. He wrote all the curriculum.
Yeah, have you gone through the books?
I have.
See, now he changed my life. So when I got to Berklee, I had always been a music reader, reading music. And so when they do they have you come in, there's a orientation, and then they take you into a system where they kind of test you to see where they're going to place you, what level, what teaching. It's not like you take ear training 101D, but I mean, they basically know. And in my case, which is basically my whole life, really, even when I played like crap, I got the gig because I could read. So, which was neither here nor there, because I'm hoping I don't play like crap all the time. But so I went to this school, and they gave me this piece, and I got an ego the size of, of the Manhattan, and I'm like, I ace this stuff like nothing. Read the whole thing. They called off a tempo. I'm this snooty. I say, no, man, you could call it off faster. So, I'm trying to show them, because I want to get placed high. So he's like, yeah. And then when it's over, the teacher looks at me and he says, well, that was really good, except you played it in the wrong key. I didn't see the accidentals.
Oh, my.
So next thing I know, I got placed with a guitar teacher. So I was in it was called performance. It's a degree, bachelor's, but for performance. Guitar, violin, drums, whatever. And I walk in, and I had students who were 14 years old who played better than this teacher. And he was stiff. I was playing some stuff, screwing around. So what's that chord? What's that chord? Asking me. I'm thinking, I'm at music college, and the teacher's asking me what chord I'm playing. I don't think this is going to work. I must have really messed up reading that thing, right? So I'm scared, man. This is the first time I've ever driven out of stage.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I think he was he was 1 week behind you.
Another guy. I think this guy was like a month behind me. So, and you know what? I respect it now that I'm older and wiser. I don't know about wiser. I learned through the years that you can't always tell somebody's expertise by what they do in front of you.
That's true.
I don't want to diverge too much from this story, but real quick, I had a student, Rocky George. He used to come to a lesson every week, and he would play when I talked. And he would play stuff like, I don't know what he was playing, heavy metal, Alan Holdsworth. And I just said, this is the diatonic system, C, D minor, E minor. And he wouldn't nod. He wouldn't respond. It was like, and I finally said, look, you, in those days, I was $40 an hour. I said, you're paying me $40 an hour. You come here every Thursday and you don't listen to a effing word that I'm saying here. He said, no, Mr. Glaser, I'm listening. I'm listening. I couldn't get him to do anything that I asked him. Here, read this. And he would just it was like he was in another room, right? I liked him though somehow because I like creative people, and I thought he was either nuts or on the edge or something. And so about 3 months into lessons, I'm really ready to let him go. And I get a phone call from him. He says, Jamie. I said, yeah, he's Rocky. He says, can I move in with you? I'm telling you the story exactly as it is. Like, no, there's nothing in the middle. And I'm thinking, what? Can I move in? To my house? He said, yeah, I need to move in. I said, well, what are you talking about? I figure the guy wants free lessons. He wants to harass me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
He says, my parents threw me out of the house. I had 62 students. I don't, what? I said, well, why? He said, because my parents wanted me to become a doctor, but I want to play guitar. And I'm thinking, you're never going to play guitar if you can't play what I taught you, in my head, right? But the sensitive side of my life is like, sure, but you can come for the weekend. So now he moves into the house for the weekend, and all he did the entire weekend was practice. Like, he had the door shut. I never heard anybody practice. Like, I don't think he ate for 3 days. I was like, and then at the end of the story, I get a messenger comes to my door in Los Angeles, and he presents an album to me, and with a letter about how grateful this person was that I taught him and that I helped him to attain his dream. And it turned out that it's Rocky George, the lead guitarist of Suicidal Tendencies.
Wow.
That was
Great.
the point. And so my point here is, during lessons, I had no idea. I mean, literally no idea that he could play. Why? Because first of all, if I'm a teacher that teaches you what you already know, then I'm not a great teacher, right? Secondly, his interests were whatever he took from me is fine, but I didn't know that. So I never knew he could play. I literally never knew he could play. So in respect to the first teacher at Berklee, is where I'm going to jump back on. He may have been a monster. I mean, he may have been the greatest Django Reinhardt guitarist that ever lived, but it didn't seem that way. I had a lot of experience compared to some of the first-time students. I'd been playing professionally since I was in the music union at 12 years old in New York. So there was some snootiness, some egotistical stuff going on. So I thought,
I know one thing. When I did meet you, I loved you right away.
yeah, well, that's because we're us.
You know, you didn't come across snooty or arrogant or anything. You know,
I think I'm less now. I'm snooty when I see someone not taking care of a rabbit properly now, but not guitar. So anyway, at Berklee, I was afraid. You know, I mean, just out of high school, I never drove. I never had a car. I got my license. I got my own car. I bought a Plymouth Fury, and then I drove it for $800. Drove it to Boston. You know, 4-hour drive. I've never driven even anywhere, and now I'm at college. So I said, do you know the person who wrote the books, the curriculum for Berklee? Oh yeah, he's in that room upstairs, 5K, 5th floor, 5K. So I knock on the door because I want this Mr. Levitt, Bill Levitt, to maybe place me with a better teacher. And knock on the door. I'm scared. I can still, it's funny. It's 50 years later. I still feel kind of scared even. The door opens. The room is filled with smoke, cigarette smoke. And it's Bill Levitt, you know. He says, come in. Right. So I walk in. There's him, a blonde D'Angelico, and his desk. And he asked me a little bit about me and about my family. And he said, play me something. So I played him a chord solo, you know, like. And he says, oh, play me something else. Then he gave me something to read. And he said, how would you like to be my student? And that's when it started. And immediately upon the first lesson, he told me that his suggestion, strong suggestion, was I change my major and become a composition major. And his reasoning was that guitar players all have the same basic vocabulary. They'll learn licks from Tal Farlow, Wes Montgomery, Jeff Beck, Alvin Lee, Jimi Hendrix, whatever. But composers treat the guitar differently because they're learning from a compositional way. And at first I fought him because I wanted to be I wanted to be a rock star, you know. I thought this would kill it. I wasn't looking to be Mozart. But he told me, he said, look, if I'm a composition major, then he can get me into a synthesizer class. And I was like, I'm not doing a synthesizer. I hate disco, right? I fought him. He said, no, you're going to do the synthesizer class because that's the future. And it's funny. Everything about my life, Tony, I haven't written a song without a synthesizer in 40 years. And everything was because of Bill Levitt. And he, of course, was the composer for the NBC Orchestra. So I pretty much mirrored everything he did. In the 4 years I studied with him, I never heard him play. Not once. He picked up the guitar once to show me a hand position. And I was so excited. He never played the guitar. The chairman of guitar, the guy who made the curriculum, never touched it. Just sat there.
I believe that.
Never, because he wanted me to, and he said, you know, when you get out of school, everybody's going to go to the Berklee Library. They're going to listen to all the legends, and they're going to try to transpose the solos, and they're going to use that as part of their vocabulary. He said, but they won't be thinking about counterpoint. They won't be thinking about retrograde and this and that. He said, that's what. And so when people often, you know, it depends on the branding. You know, I was a fusion guy because I was with the French guy with Ponty. And then I became a progressive guitar player because suddenly I'm with Jon Anderson. I once played with Bryan Adams and Iggy Pop and all these other people, and now I was a rock guitar player. So I'm none of those things. When people ask me, and they do ask me, what kind of guitar player are you? Or musician, I say I'm a compositional guitarist. Everything I do is about melody and about composing. And I know one lick. I know the Johnny B. Good, the intro to Johnny B. Good, this thing. I don't even think it's right. I don't know. If you ask me to play a George Benson lick, I know the melodies, but I don't know any of his solos.
I'm very similar. I had a similar experience because I studied with Pat Martino for a little while.
That's right. Did he teach you this?
Yeah. No, see, I went to him and he treated me just like Bill Levitt treated you. He said, I sense that you're a creative person. And he was talking to me about composing and about getting ideas to be creative. And We never played guitar. He gave me concepts, how he looked at things. And, his thing was converting things to minor. So
Minor.
if he sees,
Actually, it's my concept too because of him.
me too, because of listening to him and hearing him. I didn't want to be, he's amazing, and so is George Benson, so are you. But for me, I always thought like, well, I'll be influenced by them because there's things I love about all those guys, but I have to be me. I want to be me, So
You are.
He would do stuff like Jamie. He would say, "Here's an idea for you. Are you stuck on coming up with a melody?" He said, "There's stuff all around you." He said, "I want you to look at a license plate and you see the numbers and the letters. Now I want you to take a scale and I want you to assign a C scale to all of the letters of the alphabet. And then I want you to assign another scale or whatever to the numeric system." And then he said, "And I want you to look and see the combinations of notes that you see in everyday life," which I thought was like, whoa,
Oh my
So,
goodness. Well,
yeah.
it's funny that I learned the minor concepts through the books. So I never transcribed his solos, but I bought them so I can read. So my whole life has been about reading music, and and that makes sense why you're so amazing, because we have the same. You're just more amazing because
No.
I had a pet fly. Did you know that? I really had Freddie. His name is Freddie. And he's a really smart fly. And I trained him, right? This is a true story. And I know it sounds crazy, but he came along and sat on my knee. When I played guitar, he came onto my knee. I loved Freddie, man. I loved Freddie. And I don't think anything's unusual about that. But these kind of stories, make the. But anyway, he had me talking about sad. So here I am on the music thing, talking about how Freddie died, and like the thing. It's one thing to say I had a pet fly. It's another one to go on a major podcast and talk about how sad you are that your fly died.
Well,
yeah.
You didn't have a pet maggot, so that's good.
No, I had a pet cockroach and I had a pet fly and a pet pigeon.
You are Dr. Doolittle. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed part 1. 5.5 hours we were going. And again, we could have gone longer than that. So thanks to those of you who stuck around this entire first part. I'm going to go back to the chat. And also tomorrow night, part 2, we're going to tell the story of how we met, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So part 2 tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Going to go back to the chat. And I missed some people. I do see Kate and Scott Detchen. I see them. Hello there. Jay Steele is still here. Jamie. Amazing editing. I had my hands full, but it was fun. I had a good time. I laughed a lot. I laughed a lot with you. And then when you weren't here, I laughed a lot again. And I'm still laughing. I don't know if you guys, the pet fly. I feel bad that Freddie ended up a casualty, but a pet fly. Jamie. Mike Panich is still here. Glad you enjoyed it, Mike. Yeah, Alan, there were so many good shows at the Syria Mosque, and I played most of the halls in town, and my opinion was, as a performer, that was the best sounding stage there was in the city of Pittsburgh. The whole room was wonderful, and the stage sounded really, really good.
sometimes you get in larger halls like that, and the stage itself doesn't have the acoustics that you really like. But that place did, and now it's a parking lot, so go figure. All right, I'm going to scroll back through Brian. Brian Gerard's still here. Again, thanks to those of you who showed up, and thanks to the folks that came out to see Jamie. And tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, part 2. And I will guarantee you there's more laughs. Anyway, Scott Jackson, you are still with us. Hey, Jimmy's here. Drum Blanket. How you doing, Jimmy? Wayne, you're still here, Wayne. Sage, you got your CDs. Thank you so much for ordering them. And I'm so glad that you got them. I hope you enjoy them. I appreciate it so much. Let's see. Okay, I hope I don't miss anybody. And again, if I do miss anybody, it's never intentional. I just miss people. It's hard keeping up sometimes. But anyway, Jamie, how about Jamie? Is he great or what? In fact, Jamie didn't know I was going to grab the pizza hat and the banjo and singing to the birds, but I had to, because this is how unique the guy is. He's the best. He's the best. Zelly, and how about Zelly? Zelly the dog. Wow. Hey, Jamie, I got a note from a guy with the last name Crowley, and I believe you adopted Zelly, possibly, right? He sent me a Facebook friend request, and I accepted, of course. And he loves you. He loves you so much. And Zelly. Oh, the first song, Jay, that was a song I wrote for my younger brother. That CD came out in 1994. So that's called Victor Vicious, because my brother's name was Victor. And when we were kids, we would tease him, and that was his nickname, Victor Vicious, because he kind of was. He could be. And I loved him. But that's it. So thank you, Victor Vicious. An oldie. There's Darren. Thank you for showing up. Hey, Dave Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. Another fine guitarist and vocalist. So we have Scott Detchen here. And Darren Miller, another one. So, yeah. Great. Good to see you all. Any questions out there? You guys have any questions? Hey, think of some questions. I'm going to tell you who's coming up, because I have some cool people coming on very soon. So next week, I have a dueling interview with Joe Pinciotti. Joe Pinciotti is a great drummer. He used to play in my band as a youngster. And he's on tour with Charles Wesley Godwin, who's an Americana artist. They're doing great, playing big venues like Red Rocks and such. And then my friend Marvin Frock, who's a great guy, custom guitar builder from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Rocket Custom Guitars, so he's going to be on. Then the week after, another great guitar player, Tom Hemby. Tom is awesome too, and he played with Amy Grant and Vince Gill, among others. He's a Nashville A-lister session guy, and funny, and a friend. Then after that, the Wild Man. Gumby Ortiz. He's Al Di Meola's right-hand man, and he's a wonderful percussionist. He has energy like you can't believe. I love the guy, and he's going to be on. Then after that, keyboard genius Bobby Floyd, played with Ray Charles and Count Basie, plays piano and killer Hammond B3 organ. Then my friend Don Alico Jr., who's another terrific musician, great saxophonist. We've played together over the years. Actually, his father is a wonderful musician. So he's Don Alico Jr. I'm Tony Janflone Jr. My father, Don's father, and the two of us have played shows together and done father and son shows. So he's going to be on. He's from Nashville, just killing. He's just killing. After that, Paul Thompson. I mentioned him during Jamie's interview. PD Bass. Check it out on YouTube. PD Bass. Great channel. Paul's an excellent upright and electric player and a good guy. After that, my friend Gary Talley from the Box Tops. My Baby She Wrote Me a Letter, that group, that's Gary Talley. He's the original guitarist with the Box Tops. Also, do yourself a favor, look up Gary Talley's YouTube channel. Some great stuff there with he and his mom, who's in her 90s, and they do some duets together while he plays guitar and she sings. It is sweet. It's really cool. Then I have kind of I'm going to call him a mystery guest. He's the musician that is known as Marino. Marino. Check him out on YouTube. He has one song called The Devil in Disguise, and it has 30 million views. 30 million views. 30 million views. Hard to believe, but he does. So he's going to be on. I also have a couple irons in the fire. And I spoke with Jimmy Haslip, who's one of the best bass players on the planet. Played with some of my favorite people, including the Yellow Jackets and Gino Vanelli. He was on the Brother to Brother album. He's going to be on. He agreed to be on. We haven't gotten the date yet together. And also John Pagano. He's a killer vocalist, and he toured with Burt Bacharach for years and years, and now he's out on the road, and they're doing a Burt Bacharach tribute. And man, you got to hear John sing songs like "A House Is Not a Home" and those kind of songs. Killer, soulful vocalist. So he's going to be on as well. We're just trying to get the dates sorted out. And I have a few other irons in the fire I'm not going to say anything about yet. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat. Scott Jackson, I love Jimmy Haslip too. He's great. He's just a killer. Rick Beato, this is from Wayne. Wayne's here from the UK, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Beato mentioned that musicians these days all come from a rich family. Well, I'll tell you what. I believe he said that the only way to make it is that way. There's probably some truths to it, but I don't agree with it being the end-all statement. I don't. I think cream will rise to the top. It's harder. It's harder when you don't have money. And I came from a family that didn't have a lot of money, but I was blessed to always end up with a lot of work as a musician. So you can do it. You can do it. But I would say, Wayne, I sort of agree with that. It's harder than ever. Excuse me. Again, these allergies. I apologize. Really bugging me this year. All right. Sage. She said, let's see, it's all about that bass? Wait a minute, I missed something here. I missed something. You enjoyed Jamie's stories. Yes, he's great. We hit it off the minute we met. And no, it was not in prison. That was a joke, okay? It wasn't in prison. It just felt like it. No, it didn't feel like it either. Anyway, yeah, he's great. And in his stories, we would have gone on. I'm not kidding you. It could have easily been a 24-hour Zoom call. It was Zelly's the one who stopped the show. She had enough. Yeah, John Scott, you're the one that turned me on to John, and he can sing his brains out, man. He's just really good. In fact, if you get a chance, one of my favorite songs ever is a song that was done by Donny Hathaway. And for me, he did what I considered it to be the definitive version of a song called A Song for You. Okay? And then I heard John Pagano sing a version of it. And it was amazing. So I can't wait to get him on here. It's great. You're switching to lurking, Sage. Okay, you're awesome. So thank you again. Sage is really a kind person. She's so kind. Jamie Glaser, I have to go feed the snail in the backyard. All right, have a great night, buddy. And thank you again. I enjoyed your company very, very much, and we'll do more of it tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time, that is. Let's see. Oh, his daughter. She can sing. Jay Steele said he went to high school with Layla Hathaway. Man, in fact, I didn't know. It was funny. I heard a song on the radio, and I heard this song, and I heard the singer, and I said, man, that sounds like a female version of Donny Hathaway. Because she has that same thing, man, that soulful, same vibe that he had, and she's amazing. So I found out it was Donny Hathaway's daughter. So that's really cool. How cool that is. Let's see. And by the way, Candy's here, and Candy is another kind soul, and she helps out so much on these live streams because, again, I'm like the guy back here. Please ignore the man behind the curtain. That guy. And I have all this stuff going on, and some of you have been here when I hit the wrong button and things didn't go as planned. So I'm usually like kind of semi-stressed out, just trying to make sure I make the right moves. But Candy's really super helpful. Let's see here. Okay. By the way, Wayne, Rick Beato, his whole thing is amazing. And his son, Dylan. Oh my gosh. I don't know if any of you have seen the video of Rick Beato's son, Dylan, but he would play like chord clusters, like just these really congested chords. And this kid, as a young boy, could pick out every single note, name each note, and he was flawless. I mean, amazing. All right. So, again, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Next Tuesday. Coming up on Toneful Tuesdays. I'm your host, Tony Janflone Jr. Join me Tuesday, June 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern for episode 13, featuring 2 great guests and 2 great conversations. First, I'll be talking with drummer Joe Pinciotti of Charles Wesley Godwin's band about music, touring, groove, and life behind the drums. Then, I'll be joined by Marvin Frock of Rocket Custom Guitars, a custom guitar builder creating unique, handcrafted instruments with heart, tone, and personality. It's drums, guitars, tone, stories, and real talk, all on Toneful Tuesdays. Join us Tuesday, June 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel. That's next Tuesday. Then next Thursday, it's a special edition. I've had several people ask me to explain what is going on with me physically, why I'm not playing shows, and that sort of thing. So that is next Thursday at 7 o'clock. You're going to get the complete story. In fact, you're going to get the story that has never really fully been told, okay? Because it was sort of a perfect storm of events. And that's what caused me to be in the state I'm in. All right? Coming up Thursday, June 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Join me for episode 1 of Beyond the Strings Live. Thoughtful Thursdays with me, your host, Tony Janflone Jr. The first episode is called A Big Pain in the Neck. It's the story of my serious neck situation, emergency surgery, recovery, faith, and how I nearly lost music but found my way back. I hope that you'll join me live Thursday, June 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on my YouTube channel. So that's next Thursday. Listen, I am so blessed. I feel like it's a really great community forming here, and I love it. So I thank you. There have been many of you that show up week after week after week, and I'm really, really touched and grateful for this. So thanks, because I'm not playing live shows. Fortunately, well, number one, fortunately, I'm alive, because that was almost not the case. And number two, fortunately, I'm not paralyzed. So I'm playing, I'm able to write and record and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not playing live shows. So guess what? This is my way of reaching out and having community with people. Okay? So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Now listen, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, pardon me again, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I hope to see you here. We're going to finish up this great conversation with my beautiful friend, Jamie Glaser, okay? All right, everybody, listen, have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Take good care. Spread love. Rough world out there right now, and every one of us can make a difference. We can. You spread it out, man. Just those people you come into contact, you have the power to affect the people that you come into contact with in a positive manner, okay? So remember that, because sometimes it's pretty daunting when you watch the news and it's difficult to stay positive. Just stop watching the news. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you so much. I mean it.